Hello guys, welcome to this session where we are talking about the second chapter. Perhaps before I could start going on to the second chapter, I would like us to just recap on what has happened on the Municipal Audit Committee performance, CPD teaching and facilitation schedule. We have dealt with chapter 0, the introduction of the program. And in that session, we looked on the introduction of the presenter, and we looked on the layout of the document as well, and the video presentation. We went on to look on the slides, municipal overview, and we did a walkthrough on the municipality generic affairs. Then we did the technical and administrative advice. That was chapter 0. Then we went on to do the importance of local governance in South Africa. Then we did Auditor General of South Africa municipal overview. Then we did the 2021-2022 Auditor General of South Africa municipal outcomes. Then what is left on your side is to do the tutorials and engagement sessions which are happening inside the platform where we are discussing some of the areas here. Perhaps I should mention to you that one of the things that we should remember is that recently the Auditor General has issued the 2022-2023 audit outcomes. So we're going to discuss those during the tutorial and engagement sessions. Then after that, you're going to do your CPD questions. There are 10 questions that you need to do, which basically closed off the chapter 0. Then today we're gonna go on to chapter 1, constitutional law orientation. This video is divided into 3 sessions. There's gonna be session 1, video 1, session 2, video 2, session 3, video 3. So in video 1, we're gonna deal with chapters 1, 3, 4, and 6. Then chapter 2, video 2 is gonna deal with chapter 7. It's quite a very detailed chapter 7 of the Constitution. Then we deal with other chapters of the Constitution, like chapter 13 and chapter 14. Perhaps before we can go on, let us look now on the layout of this chapter to say what should we expect to find in this chapter. So in chapter 1, the foundation provisions, we're looking to deal with chapter 2, the supremacy of the Constitution. Then we go to chapter 6, the languages. Then we go to section 43, legislative authority of Republic of South Africa. Then chapter 3, cooperative governance. We're going to look specifically on section 40. Here we're trying to pick up the sections of the Constitution that are gonna help us to go to where we want to go, the audit committees. So we're trying to give some form of a background onto what audit committees are and what is backing up the audit committees. Then we're gonna go to chapter 4, the Parliament. That is section 67. Then we go to chapter 6. The provinces, that is section 69. You can see now why we have opted to deal specifically with chapter 7 as a separate item, because there are quite a number of chapters that are dealt with there. For instance, chapter 151, status of the municipalities, section 52, object of the local government, section 53, the development duties of municipalities, section 156, 154, municipalities and corporate governance, section 155, establishment of municipalities, section 156, powers and functions of municipalities. I think for me, what is important now at this stage, remember we have given in the outline, the number of other chapters, for instance, from here up until the end, and what I would like to encourage you to do is that as we continue with these chapters, at least pick up from these chapters, pick up which sections of the Constitution are they referring to, so that if there's a need for us to revisit the Constitution, we do that. Now, Section 156, powers and functions of the municipality. Section 157, composition and election of municipality councils. Section 158, membership of municipality councils. Section 159, terms of municipality council. And Section 160, internal procedures. 161, privileges. 162, publication of municipality bylaws. Then chapter 13 of the Constitution is talking about finance, where we'll be looking up onto the National Revenue Fund, the equitable share and allocation of revenue. Then we're gonna look on national, provincial, and municipality budget. Then we're gonna look on treasury controls, procurement, Section 217. Then Section 226, we'll be looking on provincial revenue funds. Then Section 227, national sources of provincial and local government funding. Then Section 226, municipal fiscal powers and functions. Then Section 230A, municipal loans. So you could see that we did not deal with all the sections that are in the constitutions, but we are dealing with sections that are going to help you to understand the municipality. And when you are there, you understand which questions to ask. Then we're going to deal with Schedule 4, that is the functional areas of concurrent national and provincial legislative competencies. Then we deal with Schedule 5, that is the functional areas of exclusive provincial legislation. So I think from there it becomes easier now to deal with that one. Perhaps let us look now on who are the main characters in this chapter, whom we are looking likely to see or read about. I think in this chapter about Constitution, we will hear words talking about the council, and we will explain what the council is. Then we will look on the roles and responsibility of the council and the roles and responsibilities of a municipality. We're gonna understand what is the national sphere. We're gonna understand what is the provincial sphere. We're gonna understand what is a local sphere. So in the local sphere, that's where the president is and the cabinet. Then underneath that, you will find the provincial sphere, where the where the premier and the MECs are. Then in the local sphere, in the municipalities, that's where you find the mayors and the MMCs. All right. So some of the words that we'll be dealing with are those. The main thing that we want to do is to find how the legislation is given effect in the local municipality, and how the Constitution, if it does, talks about MECs and the ministers, and also to give direction on which laws to follow. I think for me this is important because you will see in most of the documents that are submitted to the audit committees, you will find that on the legislative framework, the authors will just write the Constitution, but they won't say which section of the Constitution. I really don't like that. I wish the authors could specify it, because when you are reading the documents, you want to understand exactly which section of the Constitution or which chapter of the Constitution is influencing the write-up of the document and so on. So I think that's what we are going to expect. Let's get to it then. Now, this is chapter 1. Of course, we are dealing with the introduction to municipality audit committees. Now we are understanding the environment and its constitutional affairs, which is the opening slide. So we are dealing precisely with the Constitution there. So you will see that South Africa is seated in the African continent, and where it's set is just on the tip of the bottom part. So it's a country. So fix that in your mind. South Africa is the country, and it's part of other countries of the world. So so that's where it is situated. So that is a very good foundation for you to understand audit committees. First, you are working in an audit committee that is in South Africa. So in South Africa, there are three spheres of government, as we already mentioned. There is national sphere, there's provincial sphere, and there is a local sphere, which the constitution points it to be independent, interdependent, and interrelated. So we understand that the constitution, the supreme law is the supreme law of the Republic of South Africa. So all other laws that we will be dealing with, as we have mentioned in the first slide, they need to be read together with the constitution. So there are 11 official languages in South Africa. I think that is a typo. So as you get into the audit committees, just understand, quickly map out in your book, and clearly set out which language is said in your area. I think that's why we're going to talk about chapter 6 languages, the section 6 languages, because language is very important as an audit committee member, because it influences you to understand what type of people you are dealing with there and what their needs are. So on the legislative framework, we know that since the national is sitting here, the legislative framework is parliament, and on provinces are the provincial legislatures, and for the local municipalities, those we call municipal councils. We've already mentioned this before, that what we pick up at a national level is that the government is sitting this side, and the parliament is sitting this side. The provincial government is sitting this side, and the provincial legislature is sitting this side. But when you get to a municipality, you find that the council, together with its legislative role, is within the council. So those are the things that I want you to pick those up as you move forward. So South Africa has got 9 provinces. Now you need to understand, as you get to your audit committee, to say, I have been appointed in an audit committee, and my work will be in Limpopo, or it will be in Northern Cape, So now you are zooming in. Now remember, we talked about South Africa, we talked about national sphere, we talked about provincial sphere, we talked about local sphere. So in the provincial sphere, where is your audit? Where is your employer situated? The company, the municipality that has employed you as an audit committee, where is it situated? Because it helps you to understand a variety of issues, because these provinces are not economically the same, and it helps you to understand the frustrations of the people residing in that area. And if you're watching TV, it helps you to understand how connected are you on what is shown on the TV at a particular moment. So the chapter 2 of the preamble to the Constitution is talking about a number of things. It's talking about the acknowledgement of the past. So you will realize that when you go to your municipality, most of the things are not happening. People are still poor. Some of the basic services are not going through to the people, and all those things. So the acknowledgement of the past injustices has contributed to that. So the Constitution seeks to honor those who fought for our liberty that we have, our liberations that we have today, and embrace diversification and unity. Remember when we said, when you go and when you accept your appointment letter as an audit committee member and you are appointed in Tzaneen, immediately you need to understand that perhaps maybe you are a Zulu, or you are a Tswana, or you are a Xhosa, or you're an African speaking person, or you're an English speaking person, but you are appointed to serve the community of that area. So immediately you need to put yourself in that part of diversity. So that is the system that governs the municipality situation, and for you to understand where that municipality is, you must understand that this municipality is situated and has been influenced by the situation of the past, and irrespective of what political party or which political party is governing the municipality, you must remember that we are working there as South Africans, and as an audit committee member, you do not have a political affiliation there. You are going there as an independent person to improve the quality and life of the people of that province, and particularly that municipality. That is what is chapter 2 saying of the constitution. Is talking exactly about that, to say the constitution is the supreme law of the republic. Hence, we need to understand exactly what the constitution is, so that when the municipality officials come and deliver documents for us to read, and when they offer explanations to us, at least we understand perfectly what they want us to do. So any law of the laws that we're going to deal with that is inconsistent with the constitution, that law is invalid. And the constitution imposes an obligation that all the laws must fulfill the mandate of the constitution. So none of the laws must talk contrary to the constitution. So the constitution itself, in chapter 2 and chapter 3, we pick up the constitution as the foundational legal document of South Africa. So all other laws found expression in the constitution. In other words, they need to adhere to the constitution, and the constitution outlines the rights and freedom of South Africans whilst ensuring governance with the law. And if you drill down, or if you move away from chapter 2 of the constitution, you will realize that now it starts to talk about the three spheres of government, their roles and responsibilities, or their roles and functions. That is the national sphere, the provincial sphere, and the local sphere. These two spheres are very important, and you will see when we are dealing with the APR, and when we are dealing with the annual report, the AR, because the AR must show how it's is linked to the national programs, so we cannot divorce these three spheres from one another. They need to talk to one another. The local government cannot do something that is contra from what the provincial government is doing, and it cannot do contra what is the national government seeks to do. So they need to talk one language, because they are interrelated and interdependent. So, of course, as we've already mentioned in our hierarchy, that the national government is sitting here, it means that it is the highest and the primary, and is the highest authority in the land, and it is responsible for policies affecting the entire country, and also includes national regulation and standards. Then from here you come to provincial government, which has got a crucial role in tailoring policies and governance to meet the unique needs of the people of that region. Remember, we said you need to understand which region you are working on, and what are the policies that are influencing that region. For instance, some of the regions in Eastern Cape are affected by disaster, and there are a lot of disaster grants that are given to municipalities in the Eastern Cape. So with that, it helps you to understand what are the roles and responsibility you have as an audit committee member. And the provincial government hold authority over specific provincial issues, and as defined in the constitution. Then on the lower part, on the bottom part of the hierarchy, you find the municipalities who are addressing community needs, because remember, it's only the local municipality that has got wards, and communities are sitting in their wards, and it is the local municipality that must address community needs and concern, and they must ensure, remember we said this before, that they must ensure that there is an implementation of national and provincial policies at a local scale to enhance service delivery. And as you go on, we will find that when we're talking about this chapter, let me quickly go to it quickly in the main program. When we're talking about this chapter, okay, I think I've included this chapter in one of the chapters, but the role of performance management. The role of performance management there, you'll find that the priority there, it's service delivery. The KPI is service delivery to residents. And when we talk about Auditor General, you will see that when they audit the second part of the report, that is the audit of predetermined objectives, they normally select service delivery as an important KPI. So the municipality is where the implementation is set, because that's where people are. So these are the things that you know now, that okay, what is the responsibility of this municipality to the provincial government, and what is the responsibility of the provincial government to the local municipality, and hence you will realize that, perhaps before I say that, then you will understand that the local government, and this thing of knowing too much is problematic, because you want to know this, you want to talk about this whilst you're talking about this. So you want to understand what is the responsibility of the local government to the national government, and what is the responsibility of the national government to the local government. Now let me say what I wanted to say. You will find sometimes that there is communication that is coming from the MEC to the local municipality. There is a communication that is coming from the premier to the local municipality. There is a communication that is coming from the president to the local municipality. There is a communication that is coming from the minister to the local municipality. And there is a communication that is coming from the bottom, that is from the local municipality to the provincial government. And there is a communication that is coming from the local government to the national government. And as an audit committee member, you want to know what that communication was all about. So when as an audit committee chairperson, there is a point where you will see that when you are going to a meeting, there are things that you would like the municipal manager to cover, and you will list those down as a chairperson and say, I want you to cover this in the meeting. May you please cover this? Please remember to cover this and this, please, MM. Then one of the things that I normally like to include in my recommendation of what needs to be covered is that, is there any communication that the municipality has sent to the provincial government? Is there any communication that the municipality has sent to the national government, and vice versa? Is there any communication that the national government, the provincial government have sent to the local municipality, and what is that communication is all about? Because it might happen that that is a crucial communication that affects the operations of the audit committee. Because remember, as an audit committee, you must be well aware of what is happening between your institution and other spheres of government, and that is normally happening through correspondence. All right. Now, Section 40 deals with the rights and responsibility of government spheres, and as we talked about it, that the spheres of government are interdependent and interrelated. Each level of government must work together to collaborate and serve the South African citizen. Because at the gist of is, as we mentioned earlier on, that at a local municipality, that's where you find the community wards, where people are situated, and that's where the service delivery is wanted. Remember, we said when we were opening the Constitution that one of the challenges of the constitutions are the divisions of the past and the injustices of the past. These injustices have made it impossible for the service delivery to reach the people. So that's where the municipalities is where people are set. Now we need to understand in Section 40 that it's talking about the principles of governance. And it's further states there that government activities must adhere to the Constitution. Hence, we're going through the Constitution, because if audit committee members don't understand the Constitution, there's everything that is likely to go wrong there. And in understanding the constitutional principles, the audit committee members must understand accountability, transparency, and respect of the law. So your institution must show these things, and they must have a mapping to say, how are they achieving transparency, how are they achieving accountability, and what they do to respect the law, that is set in Section 40 of the Constitution, which is talking about the respect of law. So all other laws that are in the municipalities, when you read any submission that is submitted to you, now you need to understand how is this submission related to Section 40 of the Constitution, the respect of the law. We've already talked so much about language use, because language use is talking to diversity, who is there, which language is there, who is speaking what is the culture in that province, in that municipality, what are you likely to expect, and what might affect service delivery over there. So language policy, we have talked about it in section 6. When we started that section 6 is going to deal with language policy, and why is this important? Because we need to find the communication that goes. People whom we're communicating to must understand what we're saying to them. You will remember when we were doing chapter 0, there was a problem with Buffalo City about electricity, and one of the things that we picked up there is that the medias that they used to communicate to their residents did not reach their residents. And one of the issues here could be that they are using a language that the residents don't understand, and they are using a platform that is not accessible to residents. So understanding the language policy helps you to understand the communication processes, how the people communicate with the municipality, and how the municipality communicate with the people, and how the grievances and concerns are solved. Hence, you will find that in some of the municipalities, they are working very hard to have a customer care policy, a customer care service. The department that is going to deal exactly with customer complaints and customer concerns and customer appraisal, and a department that is going to make sure that if there is a problem, they are the first one to reach the community and deal with those ones. So that department, sometimes you'll find that as we go on with the program, you will find that there is a nice link between a customer care and the petitions and the public participation committee. So those committees helps to find out what are the situations on the ground. Okay, section 43. We have already touched on section 43 because it's talking about the legislative authority, and we already stated that at the national sphere we've got the legislative authority, which is vested in Parliament, and the Parliament is responsible for national laws. Then just below that sphere, we've got the provincial sphere that holds the power to enact laws pertinent to their regions, which is normally provincial bylaws are not very much common. So I would like to challenge you to say, once you get to audit committees, just find which provincial laws your municipality has adopted. Then just below that, you find the local municipality, and the local municipality is tasked with the legislative function to create and implement bylaws. So we've already mentioned that one of the biggest challenges of the local sphere is that within one house you find the executive authority, you find the administrative authority, and you find the legislative authority. Yet in the provincial legislature, these are all different. Premier is set alone, and his MMCs, and you find the executive authority, then you find the legislative authority. National sphere, you find the legislative authority, then you find the executive authority differently. But when you get to a local municipality, you find these in one house. So when you get to the municipality, you'll find that the municipal manager is there in his team. The speaker of the council resides inside the municipality. The mayor has got an office inside the municipality, and you will see what problems this creates as we move on. It creates quite a lot of problems, I can tell you. Then this one shows us the provinces, So Limpopo, you'll find that there are a number of municipalities in this province. So now we've drilled down, we're at the provincial authority. So at the provincial authority, you find municipalities, whether it's a metro, whether it's a district municipality, whether it's a local municipalities. So all these provinces, you can see Limpopo there. The capital city is Polokwane. Then northwest, the capital city is Mahikeng, and Mpumalanga, the capital city is Mbombela. Then Free State, the capital city is Bloemfontein, and KwaZulu-Natal, the capital city is Pietermaritzburg. Then Eastern Cape, the capital city is Bisho. Northern Cape, the capital city it's Kimberley. Then Western Cape, the capital city there it's Cape Town, and so forth. So why are these capital cities important? Because that's where the administrative function of things of these provinces are set. So that's where the premier as office is, and when the municipality is saying I'm going to the premier's office, is going to one of those cities. All right. So we already mentioned that at the national level we find the cabinet, and at the provincial level we find the members of executive council, the MECs, and at the local municipality we find a council. So the national government is responsible for one government for all the provinces, and the provinces, I've already mentioned in the previous slide that there are 9 provinces, and we have already mentioned that within a province there are a number of municipalities, whether these are district municipalities, whether these are metros or these are local municipalities. So this slide is informing us that there are 205 local municipalities, there are 44 district municipalities, and there are 80 metropolitan municipalities. And I think now what is important in this slide is for you to quickly jot down in your book and say, if I'm employed as an audit committee member, am I employed as an audit committee member of a local municipality? Just pardon me. Or am I employed as an audit committee member of a district municipality? Or am I employed as a committee member of a metropolitan municipality, and why that is important? We're going to explain why that is important in a moment or two, but what is important now is to understand. And then once you have done that, just put a province next to it to say, which province am I employed in? Because that is going to help you to understand the circumstances of that province. So we already talked about the mapping, where South Africa is situated in the African continent, and we've also talked about where the provinces are situated in the South African map. And we've already mentioned that in each province there is a local municipality, there is a district, and there is a metropolitan municipality. But what is nice about metropolitan municipalities is that they are not really have to be located in a specific province. So the province can have 1 metro, can have 10 metros, can have 11 metros if they want. So only if they meet the criteria over there. But what is important is that the word council now is mentioned in this slide, and it means that the council is the accounting authority of the institution. In other words, it is a board of directors. All right. If we talk about the private sector, then the council will constitute the board of directors of that municipality, and because the council is sitting on top as board of directors, it will have section 79 committees. That's where the audit committees sit, and it will have section 80 committees. So the only difference between section 79 committees and section 80 committees is that section 79, we'll talk about it when we get there. Section 79 report direct to the council, and section 80 reports to the mayor. All right. So when, as an audit committee chairperson, you will be asked to go and attend for purposes of reporting the activities of the audit committee. You will go and present the audit committee report to the council, and because of that, you will be attending the council. But during the council sitting, the council might want to have certain items that they want to discuss in committee. In other words, because in the council, perhaps let me say this now so that I don't forget, or at least when we say it again in some of the chapters, you will remember. So in the council, you will find a speaker, all right, which is the chairperson, who is the chairperson of the council. Then you will find the mayor, all right. Then the mayor is almost the political leader of that municipality. Then you will find the chief whip. Now, whom now is called the whip of the council. Now you will find the council members. The council members are normally the political representatives of all the political parties that have been voted for. Then you find the executive, you will find the municipal manager and his administrative team. Then you will find traditional leaders and members of the gallery. Then in the members of the gallery are people around the municipality who would wish to go and listen to what the council is all about. And you will find the chairperson of the audit committee there. All right. So that is the setting of the council. So in that setting, the council might say in the agenda we've got an in committee. So in committee is an agenda item that means only members of the council are allowed to attend it. So when the agenda gets to that point, everybody else must go outside. Everybody else except for the council. Now the question is the chairperson of the audit committee, should the chairperson of the audit committee go outside as well, or should remain? All right. My argument from where I'm set is that the chairperson of the audit committee is neither the official of the municipality or a council of the member of the council. And on top of that, because he reports section 79 reports directly to the council, my view is that on an in-committee session, the chairperson of the audit committee should not vacate also together with the administration and members of the gallery and the traditional leadership, because he's an extension of the council. That's but we can debate that further on as we proceed. Okay, we've already talked about this slide, that the national fee is sitting on top, and there is a provincial sphere which is accommodated by 9 provinces, and under that provincial sphere you find the local sphere, and in that local sphere you find local municipalities, you find district municipalities, you find 8 metros, and there is a slide that has already told us that there are 8 metropolitan municipalities, there are 44 district municipalities, and there are 205 local municipalities. I think now at the back of your mind, you want to understand how is a municipality formed. What makes up a local municipality? What makes up a district municipality? What makes up a metropolitan municipality? Just write down those questions for me and find out if we are not answering those questions as we move on. Here are the provincial responsibilities: regional adaptation, resource management, and public health. Those are some of the responsibilities of the provincial authority. Then you've got challenges in the local government, resource allocation, public engagement, and capacity building. Now, resource allocation, you'll find that municipalities are not well resourced, and I think we all need to think about the funding model on how municipalities are funded, was the money that government sends to municipalities is not enough. And also you will also find out when we're dealing with the chapter that deals Property Management Act, that municipalities have to levy the residents for service delivery, and you find that residents don't pay enough for the municipalities to go on. I've already mentioned to you that there is a committee that is called the Public Engagement Committee or Public Consultation Committee, which has got a lot of problems on its own, because it's normally not affecting. It's not working effectively. One of the problems of that committee is how the public consultation committee ties up to the petition committee, and the role of the mayor and the role of the speaker. Because you'll find that even though those two committees are making progress, the mayor goes to the community and make a promise that the public consultation committee and the petitions committee are not aware about. By the time the petitions committee and the public consultations committee go back to the community, then the community becomes deaf because the mayor has already made a promise. So you can see that the public engagement on its own has got a number of problems, and municipalities are unable to attract the skills they want because of insufficient funds. Because, for instance, if you employ someone like a CA, like myself in a municipality, you'll find that maybe I might want a bigger salary because I understand how much effort I need to put for the direction of the municipality, and you find that the municipality doesn't have enough money to pay me, and as a result, they will normally go and take a second option. And it's also painful even to us, because it's not like we don't want to serve, but because of our knowledge and our experience as chartered accountants, there is a lot that we think we should be compensated for the work that we are doing, and you realize that the municipality now ends up having to take another option. Okay, now here I am giving just an indication of the municipalities to say, for instance, this is Ngoza Hill local municipality. The Ngoza Hill local municipality is situated in the Eastern Cape. Remember the characteristics that we have given before. We said there is a metropolitan municipality, there is a district municipality, and there is a local municipality. So we're making an example here and say, let us tie this to section 6, and let us take note of the IDP, the SDPIP, and the annual report. Just write these things down for me. Don't do anything about them. Just write them down for me and highlight them in red so that you know when we're talking about them again. Okay. So this municipality is situated in the Eastern Cape and is known. This area is known for its rich cultural heritage and diversity communities. Remember, when I said section 6, I said, remember that we are talking about languages, and the languages are going to lead you to diversity and culture, and culture will tell you what you need to know about that municipality as an audit committee member. Now here we are told that Ngoza Hill is known for its rich culture and heritage and diversity and diverse community. So there is quite a number of people here. So we already know that Ngoza Hill is in the Eastern Cape. Ngoza Hill is in the Cape. Eastern Cape is in South Africa. All right. So Ngoza Hill is in the OR Tambo district. So can you see now that even though we had a slide that was telling us that, okay, we have 205 local municipalities, we have 44 district municipalities, and we've got 80 metros. So now this slide help us to understand that, okay, a district municipality is on top of a local municipality. So a local municipality resides in a district municipality. So that's what we're picking up here. So if a local municipality resides in a district municipality, it also means that a metro also resides in a district municipality as well. So what type of government here is council? Remember, we said all municipalities have got a board of directors called a council. Then we had a political leadership, Mr. P.P. Boya, the mayor there, and is the ANC. Remember, we mentioned earlier on that there is a mayor, there is a speaker, and there is a chief whip, and all those people have been given there. And what area this municipality covers? So it covers 2.477 kilometers. What is the population? So now the population helps you to understand. So the population can still be segregated to say who's working, who's not working, who has got parents, who doesn't have parents, who speak Xhosa, who doesn't speak Xhosa, how many people are speaking Xhosa, and who is married, who's not married, how many males, how many females. So it helps you to understand when you're sitting down to do your job, you understand your responsibilities and say, who are your constituencies, to whom are you reporting to, and how is your community made up? All right. So in this municipality, if you're an audit committee member, you're accountable to 278 people. All right. So here is the racial makeup. All right. So Black African 99%, colored 4%. 0.4%, Indian 0.1%, white 0.1%. So it's black dominated. So what are the languages that are spoken in section 6? It's Xhosa and English, all right, and other perhaps Sesotho and all others there, all right. So now can you see now this helps you to understand the environment. We have started at the local, at the national level, we moved to provincial, and now local municipality, Ngoza Hill. And once we are there, what type of you can ask a lot of questions here from the municipality and find out if they understand the people that they serve. There's nothing wrong to say how many people are here in this municipality, but you must ask this question on an item related to that question. All right, but in an audit committee, it's a very nice platform. You can ask any question. They cannot say no, you are out of order. They should answer you to say here, so you can ask these statistics however you want to understand it. There's nothing wrong to say who is the mayor here. If you're coming for the first time, who is the speaker, what is their political party, what is the chief, who is the chief whip, what is their political party, and which languages are spoken most often here, and what is the racial makeup of this municipality. It shows you that once you start ask questions like that, those questions are very tangible, and they show that you have went through the SPPSA course. Okay, now this slide is showing us the Ngoza Hill, and is showing us. Oh, I think I forgot to mention one thing here. Can you see? It says here there are 31 wards. Okay, there are 31 wards in this municipality, and it sits in Flagstaff, because Ngoza Hill takes care of Flagstaff and Lusikisiki. That's what makes up Ngoza Hill, and the seats are in Flagstaff. So can you see now that this has got 31 wards? And remember, in one of the slides, we've already mentioned that the local municipalities has got wards. Okay, so now we know that the local municipality has got wards. Let's look to find out if a district municipality will have wards. Let us look if a metro will have wards as well. And why is it important for you as an audit committee member to understand the wards? Now, there are 31 wards and there are 278 communities. But even though we cannot say 278, 481 divided by 31, but what it means is that these wards are coming from that 278 community population, and the council members have been voted by these people here. All right, so here is Flagstaff. It moves from here, from these two, and it moves from here, and it moves from here. But I want us to look on Ntabangolo. Ntabangolo is a different municipality. I think what is interesting for me here is Phaqeni, Flagstaff. Oh, I think this is a road. This is N2. This is N2. But we need to understand here to say, if this is Ntabangolo municipality and this is Ngoza Hill, are there any wards that are sitting in between that belong to Flagstaff or belong to Ntabangolo, and what problems are those? So you can ask a question to say, are there any wards that are shared by the municipality between itself and another municipality, or where there are problems, where community do not know whether they are in Flagstaff or they are in Ntabangolo, or are there any protests that have occurred in the recent past where some of the wards wanted to belong in one community, and not in one town or in one local municipality, not the other local municipality? And it also helps you to understand the service delivery, to say, out of these wards, what is the delivery landscape between these wards? Are these wards all attended to? You will see when you are dealing with community services and technical services. So they need to tell you which ward was that. Whenever they say we have done this to Mbologweni, you must note and say Mbologweni is in which ward, so that you can pick up and say, I've never seen any report that is talking about Njobela, Nkunzimbeni. Are there any services that are going to Mfinezweni? Are there any services that are going to Kwapala, and what type of services are those ones? And as an audit committee member, you should remember that it's not always possible to service in one financial year all the wards. Something that you have done in these wards this year, you might do it in another ward next year, and so on and so on and so on. But that sharing must be clear. So we must understand that the reason we're not doing roads in Lukolo is that they were doing last year. They were done last year. So now we're focusing on the roads at Ezweni there. So these are the types of things that the Constitution helps us to understand. Hence, SPPSA is bringing this forth to make sure that the audit committee member, our audit committee members are asking right questions and are aware. Okay. So what is the future of local governance? We know that the local governance is faced with quite a number of challenges, and there are very few opportunities to reform and grow and for it to move to a more effective government that responds to the diverse needs of South Africa, because most of these municipalities are accommodating poor people, and there is poverty there is crime, and the municipalities are unable to get to charge those people for service delivery. So they are dependent mainly on what they are getting from government. So that's what you also need to understand, the equity share of the municipality, and why the equity share is structured like that, and what the equity share is capable of doing, and what it cannot do. All right. So that is very important there. So Nadia local government, local municipality governance overview. So we already mentioned that the responsibility of the municipality resides with the council. The council becomes the board of directors, and they play a significant role in fostering democratic participation amongst citizens. There's nothing wrong in asking that question. How does the council foster a democratic participation among local citizens? First, we need to understand public participation. What are the activities, and in the calendar, at which stage the municipality is going to go for public consultation. There's nothing wrong in asking that question. They will need to tell you that no, public participation is done when this is happening, when this is happening, and when this is happening. Then you can ask the question, what do we do about the results of the public participation? How are the results of the public participation helping us? And who attends the public participation from the municipal point of view, and what their responsibilities are, both at the public participation and when they come back from the municipality. And how is that public participation prepared for? Who sits and how is it structured, and so forth. So the reason for service delivery, we already mentioned that South Africa is coming from previous injustices, and what is at the core now for government is to meet community needs and hence the quality of life. But we need to go broader and say, what is service delivery? All right. So just write down in your book to say, but what is service delivery? And we're going to answer that question in a moment or two. Here is a district municipality. So the district municipality that we're talking about here is Joe Gabi municipality. It's a district municipality. Where is it located? It's located in the Eastern Cape. So what is it that we can find here? All right. Now, what I want you to do, I want you to compare this slide of a district municipality and compare the slide that we have dealt with already of Ingoza Hill. All right. So let us go on this one. Already we know that a district municipality is set at a province, and the province here is Eastern Cape. All right. So a district municipality is responsible for certain local municipalities, because remember we said in the previous slide that a local municipality sits within a district municipality, but we didn't say how many municipalities should a district have, So here we can see that in this district we have 3 municipalities: Elundini local municipality, Senqu local municipality, and Walter Sisulu local municipality. So on the previous slide, when we were talking about Ingquza Hill local municipality, it had its seats in Flagstaff. So here we're told that this district municipality has its seats in Berkeley East. What I did not say, because I already know what I already know with Ingquza Hill is that the district municipality there in Ingquza Hill is OR Tambo, but here it's Elundini. So I think OR Tambo has got the following local municipality. It has got the KSD, it has got Mhlonhlo, it has got Port St. John's, it has got Ingquza Hill, it has got I think there are 5 local municipalities there. So this racial makeup, of course, depends on each of those local municipalities. So for us to understand the racial makeup of a district municipality, we need to understand the racial makeup of local municipalities. So of course, and the language there will normally talk about the languages that are talked in the local municipalities, because a district municipality is a combination of local municipalities. I can see you smiling there, excited, trying to map. It's okay. Here's local municipality. The district municipality. Okay, here's the connection between the two. So if I'm an audit committee member for local municipalities, this is what I need to do. If I'm an audit member for a local municipality, and this is how these two entities relate. But look, the type of government is a local council. But does a district municipality have a what? Ask that question. Now, here we're only told about the mayor. Remember, at Ingquza Hill, we talked about 3 things, or 3 people. The slide talked about the mayor, the slide talked about the chief whip, the slide talked about the speaker. But look here, we're not told about any of those people. Why? Please just write that question for me so that we can find out what is the reason. So here is the map. So this map helps us to understand the responsibility. Look, Walter Sisulu is the biggest municipality of these 3 local municipalities. So it means there are more responsibilities for the district municipality towards Walter Sisulu, and there are semi responsibility towards Senqu, and Elundini is a small of them all. So in these 3, we can see that Walter Sisulu is bigger. So if you're an audit committee member of Walter Sisulu, you know that your district municipality is Jogabi, and your sister municipalities is Senqu and Elundini. Normally, why this is also nice is that National Treasury, COGTA, and SALGA will normally have sectoral employees that are deployed in these ones. So you'll find that there is a representative from SALGA here, there is a representative from COGTA, there is a representative from National Treasury. Then when you attend a meeting again, if you're lucky enough to be an audit committee member for Senqu, you will pick up that the same guys you saw here are here, and the same guys you saw from these 2 municipalities are also here at Elundini. So you can see that those sectoral departments are very much stretched. Okay, here is the racial makeup. We've already talked about that as well. Okay, so the languages we've already talked to say, because it's sitting on that side of the province. Sesotho, can you see now Sesotho is appearing for the first time with 20.2%. Afrikaans is low. I think on that area of Berkeley East, Indwe, and Dordrecht, that's where you'll find Afrikaans that side. Okay, the example of a metro which we could pick up was the Buffalo City, but we've already talked about a number of other metros when we're doing the index in the introduction. Okay, we found a number of metropolitan areas, the metropolitan municipalities there that are set in different provinces. All right. So I know that in Eastern Cape there are 2 metros. There is Buffalo City and Nelson Mandela Bay. Of course, there are other metros which we have seen also in that slide and in that chapter 0 as well. Please go and refresh your mind. Then we come to chapter 4, that is the Parliament, section 67. Now, here I want you to write down, because remember we said when we're talking, we said at a national level, people are going to vote on who must be the president and which party must win the elections. We are not going to vote for provincial thing. Then at a local government, there are also local government elections. Okay, and these slides, I want you to write a note on this slide because we're going to talk about it. This is section 67. But the author here is saying, in reading section 67, we must understand section 166, 163, all right? And it says here, in dealing with participation by local government representatives, it says not more than 10 part-time representatives designated by organized a local government in terms of section 163 to represent the different categories of municipalities may participate when necessary in the proceedings of a National Council of Provinces, but may not vote. So there are three things that I want us to understand. In this slide, we talked about section 67, we talked about section 163, we talked about number 10, we talked about part-time representative, and we talked about SALGA, and we talked about the National Council of Provinces. So as we go on now and move forward, we're gonna unpack to say, as we go on to the program, to say how are these people making section 63 effective. But what I want you to highlight on your side are the things that I've already mentioned. Provincial intervention on local government, that is chapter 6. All right. So I think what is important now, you remember when we talked about local sphere, the provincial sphere, and the local government sphere, we talked about interventions. And on those interventions, we talked about a situation where the provincial government want to interfere on want to intervene on the operations of a local municipality, and we are being told here that first, an intervention doesn't just happen. All right. So the audit committee must be aware if the provincial government or the national government intends to intervene on the operations of the municipality, whether they are intervening on something that is happening at the council or they are intervening on how the administrative part of the municipality is being run. And we're being told here that intervention can take many forms. One of those forms is the issuing of directives and by the provincial government or by the national government. And the provincial government or the national government may assume some of the responsibilities of the municipality if the municipality is not doing those responsibilities well, or even dissolving the council. All right. Remember, we had the council, the provincial management government, or the national government can dissolve the municipality. Now, I want you to check in your municipality to say, has something like this ever happened? Or as we speak, is there any looming provincial or national government intervention? And if there is, or if there was, in which form did it take place? Was it in a form of a directive, or was it in a form of assuming responsibilities, or was the council ever dissolved? And what is the status now? In other words, is the intervention still continuing as we speak? Now, this chapter helps us to understand these processes because they are crucial for effective governance and ensuring that the services are maintained and they are delivered to the communities. So we've already talked about this, and we said, okay, now that you understand because the starting point is to understand which intervention took place. Now, in this one, the provincial executive may issue a directive to the local municipalities detailing the nature of the failure and the required steps for compliance. Okay, so there is a failure, okay, on the side of the local municipality, and then they are setting out the steps the municipality must take, or they want to assume some responsibilities, and in some cases the provincial executive can assume responsibility for the municipality's obligation to maintain the standard, so that people on the ground do not feel that the municipality is not doing well, all right? Because people will rebel and there are strikes and there are protests and there's violence, people blocking the way, some of them tearing the road apart and all those things. And I think what I've seen is that because step 1 or step 2 did not work, the provincial government, with the concurrence of the minister, may want to dissolve the council and appoint an administrator. Then that administrator is gonna be the council of the municipality for the meantime. So it is very important to ask the question, are there any interventions that have been done by the provincial government to the municipality or by the national authority to the municipality, and what type of intervention that is? Because it helps you to understand who then is the board of directors. Because if the council has been dissolved, it means there's no speaker, there's no mayor, there's no chief whip, there are no councillors. All right, and if there's only an administrator of the council, then how that changes the responsibilities of the audit committee, and how that will likely to affect the audit committee operations. Then here are the return notice requirements. When there is an action, these are the people that are involved: the cabinet member, the provincial legislation, and the National Council of Provinces. So the time frame for this intervention to work is 14 days. And if the council has to be dissolved, so we know that in this section, that this section is talking about 28 days and is talking about 180 days. And I want you to tell me now, why are these dates important and how are these days affected? All right, but we mentioned here that timely communication is essential during intervention and dissolution, ensuring relevant parties are informed. In other words, any action doesn't just take place. There are time frames that are given to each of the parties to respond, and some of them, and so it's a two-way situation. And when you get a communication for the first time from the provincial government about a possible intervention, whether it's a directive or it's an assumption of responsibilities or it's a dissolution, you need to understand which days are applicable to you in terms of the constitution. All right, and of course, as an audit committee member, you would want to understand if these days have been adhered to, and if they are not adhered to, what are the implications of those. Then there are also budget approval intervention. If the municipalities have failed to approve the budget, so we know that the municipality has to approve a budget, and if a municipality fails to approve a budget, there is gonna be an intervention for that one. All right, there is also an administrator appointment. Okay, an administrator may be appointed until a new council has been elected. Remember, we said in the previous slides that when a provincial government appoints an administrator, it means there is no council. Then when the municipality appoints a council, a new council, then the administrator will go away. Then there are also temporal measures that the provincial government or the national government may put forward. For instance, the temporal approval of the budget or revenue raising measures where necessary for the municipality to continue functioning. So you can see that even though we say these spheres are different by nature, but the reality is that they are interdependent. All the two top spheres, that is the national and the provincial, are really putting eagle eyes on what the local municipality is doing there. So there might also be financial crisis, because remember we mentioned in the previous slide that some of the municipalities might not recover from their citizens for service delivery because the people are poor, people are not working, there isn't enough shops in town, the municipality is not collecting refuse and all those things. So there isn't really much that they can do, and the equity share that the government has given to the municipality is not enough for the municipality to go on. So there might be recovery plan issues there, and there must be a way on how the financial crisis measures are implemented by the provincial government. Okay, we've already mentioned that there is a return notice when there is an intervention notification, and there is a legislative notification, and that must be done together. In other words, there must be a concurrence of a cabinet member. So the MEC cannot take those decisions all by himself. So when you know that there's an intervention that has been given to the municipality, the audit committee has got a right to ask for that communication. And once that communication is brought on the attention of the audit committee, you guys must go through that communication and find out if it meets the requirements of this section. And as you go through it, you point out loopholes so that the municipality can write back to the MEC, because if you do that, can also help the political leadership and administration leadership to make sure that they respond adequately and they save themselves from the time deadline hostilities there. So the national executive can also intervene on a national oversight. It looks like, the way I'm reading the constitution is that the provincial legislation has got the responsibility to intervene first. In other words, the national legislation cannot just intervene without the provincial legislation, the provincial government intervening. When the provincial government intervenes, they must intervene with the knowledge of a national government. But if the provincial government fails to intervene, then the national government must jump in there. Then there are legislative regulations. Then there's a regulatory framework and the process of establishment. So the national legislation may regulate the implementation of intervention in municipality to say how each intervention must be done and implemented. And the process establishment by this section ensures accountability and proper government. So because the MEC is not in good terms with the mayor, cannot just treat the mayor of that municipality anyhow for something that is going to affect the residents of that municipality. So there are quite a number of good processes that needs to be followed. And as an audit committee member, you are required to understand what are those. Quick recap, we have the provincial legislation, the provincial government and the national government sitting on top, and they are there to make sure that service delivery and governance is happening. And understanding the processes and requirements ensures that municipalities can effectively respond to challenges and uphold their obligations. And if they are unable to uphold their obligations, then the provincial legislation and national legislation may intervene. So here is the Minister, Velenkosi Hlabisa, who is responsible for local government, okay, for corporate governance and traditional affairs there. So here we have already talked a lot about what is a local government, but what we now understand is that a local government does not only execute laws but also engage with citizens. Hence we talked about the petitions committee, the public consultation committee, because those are the people that are sitting with the residents. So this introductory section sets the stage for exploiting the structures and functions and objectives of local government. Now, we this is the end of the first part of the presentation. We're gonna pick up from here when we come back again. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. We're gonna deal now with chapter 7 when we come back, which is now part 2 of our agreement. Remember, our agreement was saying we're gonna move up until here, then we will pick up and we will deal with chapter 7 here. I just want to check something here. Here is our agreement. So in our agreement, we said we're gonna deal with in first video. This video we're gonna deal with video 1. We're gonna deal with chapters 1, 3, 4, and 6, and we have done that now. So now the next video is gonna be on chapter 7. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Kholhlatla Vuzane. Let us meet each other on video number 2 of 3. Okay, which now this one completes video 1 of 3. Good luck. See you in the second video. I hope you're gonna take a little bit of stretch, and because also myself I'm gonna do this video tomorrow now, so that I'm more refreshed and more energetic to deal with that video. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Kholhlatla Vuzane. See you next time. Thank you so much for listening.